Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Laura the Love Coach. How you all doing today? So anyway, today I'm going to talk about when a guy starts pulling away. This is for ladies. So when we first start a relationship and we start dating a man, after a while, it starts out really good, goes up really smooth, starts out nice and heavy, the guy's into you, you're into him, you still stay interested in him, and then all of a sudden he starts pulling away. So what does this mean? Why does it happen? And what can we do to change this? Okay, so the first thing you do is when you realize a guy starts pulling away and you look for somewhere for help, that means that you're still really into the guy, okay? And sometimes showing too much interest could be a factor in this. If you're showing him way too much interest. Because remember, it's actually a guy's more attracted to somebody who doesn't always show that guy that she's really attracted to him. You want to show that you're interested, of course, but you don't want to get too attracted to him, because once you really start showing a lot of interest, you kind of come off a little bit as needy, like showing that he's your whole life and that you're always making plans with him. You're always texting him to see how he's doing. And guys really don't want a motherly figure. Like, a lot of women will text a guy almost every day. Hey honey, how's you doing? How's your day going? What'd you do today? This and that. And they'll text him throughout the day. And that's something you want to try to avoid. You don't want to text a guy too much. You don't want to show that much interest, because we know when we start liking a guy, we'll kind of we want him to like us so much that we'll start doing things that he may like. We'll start agreeing to things that he may like. Like, a lot of women will start getting into sports. Meanwhile, they never really like sports, and they'll do it for the guy because they think that's what he likes. But a guy really will like what you are. If you show him your true self and just be just as normal as you would with somebody who you don't like. Because have you ever had a guy that you really don't like, but he likes you so much? You kind of just he's okay. So you just be yourself, and you're not always available to him, and that's the guy that really likes you, right? And that's usually what happens to us, is that the guys that we don't really like, those are the guys that chase after us. If I've had a few friends say to me, I don't know why all the creeps and those guys, they're the ones that hit on me, the married guys, because you're not interested in them. So of course they're gonna hit on you, because they see your true self. But when you really like a guy, you start acting differently. Most women start acting differently when they really like a guy. And they're like, oh, I gotta get him to like me. I'm really into him. So let me agree with things that he likes, always be available for him. And they don't really see your true self. But if you treated every guy that you met the same way, then that attraction will definitely go up. So this is one of the reasons why he starts pulling away, is that showing too much interest, changing who you are. I had a guy when I was younger. I had a guy that only liked 80s music. So when he asked me what kind of music I liked, and I listened to every kind of music. I listened to hip hop, R&B. I listened to 80s too. I listened to modern pop. I even listen to country. So I had a wide range of music. It would just be like whatever mood I was in that day. That's the kind of music I would listen to. And instead of telling this guy this, I just said, oh yeah, I like 80s too. That's the kind of music I listen to. I listen to 80s. Because I liked him so much, so it was something that I did like, but I kind of just made it like, oh, that's all I listen to, just like you. You only listen to the 80s, that's what I listen to. And people don't like that, because they're like, oh, I'm just getting a clone of myself, If you start liking the things that he likes, or say if he says, okay, honey, we're gonna get dinner tonight, what do you want? I was gonna go and get, and the guy says, I was gonna go and get chicken and broccoli from the Chinese place, and you just say, oh, okay, that's fine, I'll get that too. So you really want to show, you don't want to always agree with him. Get something different. If a guy says, I'm getting chicken and broccoli, say, oh, I'll get the beef, but but I want it with the special sauce. I want it with the garlic sauce. I don't want it like that. I want it with brown rice. Show, do something a little bit different. Don't always match up with him. All right, because when somebody doesn't like that, because it seems like you don't have an opinion on anything. So that's going to be one thing that makes a guy pull away, because you want to show him love. Texting too much, giving too much of your time to somebody, right? Think of it. The guy that you don't like, do you give him all your time? No. And we think a guy wants this. We think a guy, well, if he really likes me, I have to give him all my time, you know, to get him to like me more. And if he wants to go out with me, I got to be available for him, because if I'm not available around his schedule, then he's not going to want to see me. And what's funny about that is that's going to have the opposite effect. So it's funny that our instincts always don't give us the right information. So if a guy is like, if he says, hey, you want to go out tomorrow night, and you're busy, instead of going around, say, you know what, I'm not busy tomorrow, let's go out Saturday. You know, I have some time on Saturday. Don't just say you're completely free. Say, you know what, I got some time on Saturday, let's go and do something, or, you know, something like that. And don't always agree to everything that he wants to do. Like if he says, hey, I want to go to a sporting game, I'm not really into that, let's go somewhere else, you know, or do this or do that. But you want to do some of the things that he wants to do, but you don't want to do all those things that he wants to do. Another thing that women make mistake is about when the guy asks her about her past, and she gives every detail. She's like, oh, I was hurt in the past, and this guy did this to me, and this guy did this to me, because it shows that you really care about, that you still care about that past. So instead of like talking about it so much, act like you're disinterested in your past. Be like, you know what, those are my relationships, they ran their course, you know, I'm more concerned about this relationship. You know, I'm looking for now. I'm not looking about the past, about those relationships. I don't really like to talk about them. It's not something I'm interested in talking about. But they just ran its course, you know, we grew apart, whatever. Don't like get into it like, oh, he hurt me so much, he did this to me, he did that to me, he did this to me, because it shows that you're still interested and that you may not be over that relationship yet. So that's another thing. And just being afraid to lose that person. It's really hard when you're in a relationship, when you really like somebody and you're just afraid to lose that person, and you put all your interest in that person. If you start dating, you go out on a few dates with some people and you get this one guy that you really like, don't stop dating, you know, still go out with other guys, because it'll give you the opportunity to like see other people and not get so focused on that one person. A lot of times when we find someone that we really like, we get so focused on that person, and it comes off as a little like, okay, this is going too fast, you know, you're getting too close to me, so they'll start pulling away. Still do those other things that you did in your life. And if you don't have that much other things in your life, start creating them. Because if you ever have a friend who's always agreeing to everything, always wants to see you, always wants to help you, if you ask them to do anything, they'll do it for you. And sometimes when it's like, that's too much, you know, it's like, have an opinion, do this, do that, you know, you don't want that person to always be so, it's like unattractive when that happens. If you remember the movie Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, and when he was actually set up with his bride, right? So when he wanted to meet her first, he wanted to talk to her a little bit, and every time he asked her a question like, what do you like? And she said, whatever you like. What do you do? Whatever you want to do. And then he had her, like, I think, barking like a dog, hopping on one leg. And he was like, okay, this is not for me. I'm not doing this. I'm not getting involved with somebody who has no opinion. Because your opinion's it's what makes you attractive. The differences between us is what makes you attractive to that other person. But if you start giving up your opinions and don't, you know, agree to everything that they agree to, I like what you want to, I'll go out when you want to, it gets really unattractive, and that guy's going to start pulling away. He's going to be like, okay. And you're also teaching him that, you know what, this girl will come see me anytime I want her to see me. And then he's going to be like, well, I don't want to see her this week, I know she'll be there next week. So you want to start making that doubt in his mind that maybe you won't be available when he wants to see you. So you got to put that doubt in his mind and start maybe saying, okay, well, I can't do it this week, I can't do it next week, you know, I'm doing this, I'm going away, or I got a lot of things going on this week. But don't always just be available for every time he sees you, because you're teaching him that you're easy, you're not a challenge. And then he might want to go and see other women and say, well, Laura, like, I'll use my name, right? Laura's always going to be there, so let me go and see what else is out there, because I know Laura's going to be there. Laura really likes me, she's really interested in me, she'll always bend over backwards for me, so I really need her right now. Let me see who else is out there. And he meets a nice girl, another girl, and he'll kind of put you on the back burner. It's like, she's always texting me, she always wants to see me, so I'll just keep putting her off. And that's a big reason guys pull away. Remember, when you're in a relationship or when you're first dating, you're teaching that person how to treat you. And don't you want a guy to chase you a little bit? Of course you do. You don't want to do most of the contact. You don't want to do most of the chasing. You don't want to always be texting him every single day. Let him wait a little bit. Let him kind of get that fear into him. Wow, she's not texting me. Maybe, you know, I need to do something. I need to text her. Maybe she found somebody, you know. Don't always show that you're so interested in him. Say, okay, you know, I like you and everything, but I have my life, you know, and there are other choices out there and other options out there. So that's a big reason why guys start pulling away, is too much contact from the woman, showing that she's always available, not showing that she has different interests from him, and basically you don't want to not showing one of the mistakes women make is that showing that they have too much interest and that they'll always be there for that person. You gotta give that little space, just like when you're working at a job, right? Every time they ask you to do something extra, you don't always want to say yes, because then they're going to be like, she's always going to be there. Or when they start abusing you and making you do all this extra stuff that you shouldn't be doing and not paying you correctly for it, don't always do it, because they're going to take you for granted. And then you're going to get upset and you're going to get mad and like, oh, they always make me do this, they always make me do this. Well, don't say yes all the time. And the same thing goes with your relationships. Don't always say yes. Make that guy wonder, you know. Don't go out of your way for things. Make him come see you. If you always go see him, make him come out to see you, especially if you don't live that close to each other. Like you might live an hour away from each other. If you're driving an hour each time to see him, or trying to go where it's closer, where it's more convenient for him, you're not making him work, and he's going to take the relationship for granted. And then he's going to start pulling away. He's like, she'll always come out to see me. But if you say, hey, come out and see me today, and if he says no, say, all right, well, let me know when you change your mind, and see if I'm still available. And then he'll be like, oh wow, she might not be there, so let me go and chase her a little bit. So those are my tips for when a guy starts pulling away. And if you would like some personal one-on-one coaching, I also do that. You can either contact me through my email, which is therelationshipgal@gmail.com, or you can go on my website, which is laurathelovecoach.com, and you could sign up for one-on-one coaching. If you enjoy my videos, please like and share my videos, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to continue seeing my videos and you feel like you want to make a donation so I can keep making you good and videos to give you a lot of advice, you can give me a YouTube donation, and I'll have my YouTube link in the description here. It's also on my website. So until next time, guys, have a good one.